All right, are we ready?
Yes.
Maya? Okay.
I'm here.
In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Look at you. You made it to another episode of We Did That Shit podcast, where we talk about who did some shit, what we learned from shit, and how we got through some shit.
I'm Maya.
And I'm Bibbi. Podcast family, we appreciate you, and we hope your week was the shit. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. If you enjoy our company, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. We're on iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Hey, Maya.
Why are you smiling so hard?
I can't smile.
I'm just saying, you like really in it today. Cheese. You trying to get me in a good mood or something?
Black women can't even be happy. Goodness gracious.
That's true.
Happy while black. I'm just saying.
Don't be happy while black.
Goodness gracious.
What's going on with you? How was your week?
Same shit, different me.
Same shit, different me. Okay.
That's right. Same shit going on, different me. Because, it is all in your response. And I do understand that sometimes your emotions or your passion, your anger, it could get the best of you. But I had to keep that, I had to take that to the master. Like, if you're not going to change this situation, you're going to have to change me. Something has got to give. And I just start strutting up in work like the sun rises and sets for me. How you doing? All kinds of stuff happening. I'm just acting like, oh, my mercy. Well,
Well, how much more you want somebody to change you? Because you nice as hell.
You feel me?
I'm just saying, like, how much more can you change?
I think that I'm nice. And I think that I told my boss, I said, I help people. That's what I do. That's what I do. And for as long as I'm here, you benefit from the fabulousness because it comes with a package. And I don't care how angry I am. I don't care what's going on. I can't not be me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can be me with an attitude, but people are still going to get helped.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just, you get this. It's a package deal. So, but I have all faith that when it's all said and done, I will be vindicated. I have all faith. I will come out on top. I will be vindicated.
Vindicated?
Yes.
So this is something that's going to have you being vindicated, because being vindicated is like you're being accused of something. What are you being accused of that you have to come out like being vindicated? Did you? If you don't want to get into it, you don't have to.
I was reprimanded for helping someone.
Okay.
So it's like, how if this is your job, right? Mm-hmm. Like I have and she's not really my boss. I don't consider her my boss, but they put her, and so we were managers together. They created a new position and made her like higher than the managers. So now she's a little higher than me, and I got another manager equal, right? Mm-hmm. So they created this position to make the program better, to implement the policies and procedures, to improve the performance measures, to get us to where we need to be as an excellent practice, because allegedly we used to be the best of the best.
Okay.
So the only issue is I believe that she got the position because she's been there for a long time. Mm-hmm. But you don't know what you're doing. So now you're in the position and you're asking us, well, me, to do all the things that they want you to do.
Okay.
So if I answer, she takes the information to the leadership meeting, which now that they created this, we used to go to the leadership meetings together. But now that they created this position, so now we don't go to the leadership meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So if you answer, she'll take it to the leadership meeting and present it as her own. If you don't answer, she tries to, send emails and things like that, and then you have to respond like, as I stated on this date, this,
Mm-hmm.
should be like who you think you're talking to?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that. And I feel like, first of all, if you had any kind of she doesn't like me. The lady she didn't like me when we were equals. She just doesn't like me. I just think that I don't know why she feels like we're in competition, honey. My end goal is not to be working in no ambulatory care practice. I'm sorry. It's just not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
No shade to you. You know what I mean? Good luck with everything, but that's just not my end goal. I'm here for a specific purpose before I move on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This is your whole life. And you can have it. And I just felt like, if you had any kind of sense, what you do is, you befriend the people that can do the work. Because I would do the work. I don't care about accolades. We all look good.
Right.
Allegedly. But for divisive people, they don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see that.
That's what you want to. Okay, now I get it, because I was like, oh, what you being vindicated from?
And
so that's
things have happened. I have been, some things they were like, oh my goodness, didn't Bibbi say that 3 months ago? We were in huddle and I heard, you know what I mean? So some things, they're starting to come out. People are starting to be aware. When people make decisions, people make mistakes and they don't like to correct their mistakes.
Right.
They
well,
don't.
People don't want to be wrong, right?
Rather than say we chose the wrong candidate or whatever, they're just going to roll with it. Just see how long it can roll out. And, I could leave. But once I start getting like, oh, this is fun. Let me see what happens next. We'll see. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Same shit, different me. And I'm happy.
Okay, well, that's all well and good. But you don't let nothing, even with that, oh, let's see what'll happen. Just make sure you protect yourself.
I mean, I do. And my coins. My coins. I did ask for a transfer, but the lady in HR did tell me that there was really nowhere for me to go on my level right now. We have 2 more acquisitions we're making this week. So I'm probably going to have to wait until like later in the year to see, what opens up or whatever. So I don't know. Well, how was your week?
Not as eventful as that.
Oh.
My week was all right. I didn't do much. I just went about the week like normal. Nothing really, outrageous happened. I did hang out a little bit this weekend, even though I didn't think that I was going to. I thought I was going to be chilling all weekend, not going out, not spending no money. That was my plan anyway, but it didn't happen. And I went out, hung out in DC a little bit early, like a brunch type thing. But you know how that is in DC. Their brunches is like a little party, like a day party. So it was a DJ. It was a good time. Wasn't, nothing to write home about, but fun nonetheless. The waiters was good, funny. We had a good time. And that's really all I did all week.
Did you finish the book?
I did not finish the book. You would bring that up, right? No, I did not finish the book. It was my pick for the book. The book club is like tomorrow. I'm supposed to be given the questions at the book club because it was my book, and it's 300 and I don't know, maybe like 320 pages in the book or 340 pages, and I'm 100 pages in. And I don't see me getting, I don't see me getting into it enough to finish it by tomorrow. And my girlfriend was actually like, oh, the book is pretty good, because she's like halfway through and she said she'll be finished by the time we have the book club. She was like, it's pretty good. And I'm thinking, well, it must have got good after them 100 pages, because these 100 pages was kind of, it wasn't like a hard read, but it's just very repetitive. The book is very repetitive. It's called Silver Sparrow.
Okay.
And I mean, we read the book from the girl, the last book. The American Marriage.
Right.
That was good. It was quick. Like, oh, okay,
Right.
it's interesting. What happens next? This story is just like I said, very repetitive. It's almost like if I was telling you a story, right? And I'm like, yeah, I had to go to the store. And then let me tell you what happened at the store. And I ran into James. And girl, guess what? He was with Shireen. There's that name again. Yes. And then you waiting for the next part. Like, okay, then what happened? And I'm like, because I had to run to the store and I ran into James. It's just like,
What?
you gonna just keep telling me the same thing. You ain't gonna tell me what happened with James and Shireen, or why it was so significant that you saw them. So that's how the book is reading thus far. That's why no, I have not finished the book.
Well, I mean, I'm a kind of person that if I start a book, I have to finish it. Even if I don't like it, I'll be like, this is some bullshit. Turning every page like, this is some bullshit. But I will get through the book. I will. But I know, what is that book? I'll never forget, What You Owe Me by
Terry McMillan.
Did she write that, Terry McMillan? It was Terry McMillan or somebody similar to Terry McMillan. What You Owe Me, about the girl with the makeup company. Because that was a book that was slow, but around page 150, because it was like 500 pages in that book.
Wait, was that the book about the girl who had something to do? Somebody might read this book that's listening to this podcast, but was that the book about the girl that ended up having HIV?
No.
No, okay.
No, she had like a makeup company or something.
No, but that book that I'm talking about, that last name, the girl who wrote that's last name is Billsley, and that was, the girl was a hairdresser. So I'm talking about something totally different. Okay.
No, I think it was it's the book. I know the title of the book is What You Owe Me. And it's a Terry McMillan-esque. It's either Terry McMillan or who else was I reading back then? I can't remember, but it's an older book. And I'm telling you, them first more than 100 pages was slow as heck. But when that book started getting good, I could not put the book down. I stayed up all night long.
Bibbi Moore Campbell, that's who wrote it.
Bibbi Moore Campbell, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed up all night long and finished reading that book. It was at work the next day, sleep at my desk.
Well, I hope this book gets like that between tonight and tomorrow, because I need it to. And What You Owe Me, I'll put that on a list because I never read that, and that was old. Bibbi Moore Campbell's daughter is Maya Campbell.
Right.
Oh,
who
right.
has the issues, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame.
It is a shame. Who did some shit this week?
Well, at first, I just have to say, I really do apologize for who did some shit last week, because I was just so angry at the goings on in the world, and I was just talking reckless, and I thought, that was on my mind all week. I just was like, oh my gosh, I was just cussing.
What did you say that was so reckless?
I was saying, like, I said, MFer. I was like, I don't know. And every time I listened to it, I was like, oh my gosh, listen to yourself.
No,
yourself,
don't apologize for anything on the podcast. The podcast is here so that we could tell our thoughts and our opinions on whatever it is that's going on, whatever topic we're talking about that week.
Right.
And this
I don't apologize. I really don't. It's just like, I was just so angry. And what I believe in what I feel. I believe in what I said. I believe in what I said, and I could have said worse, but I was like, when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my gosh, I must have really been.
Not me. I was like, well, about time you asked. Got some when you was a little angry.
I don't know why you like it so much when I'm angry. I don't.
It's not that I like when you angry, but I like the passion, and I like when you are not being so nice that you are suppressing what it is that you really want to say because you being so damn nice. Matter of fact, we're going to get into these who did some shits, but that's what I want to talk about this daggone week, because we had this conversation about you saying you felt like you was going off on the damn podcast, and it got me to thinking exactly what I'm saying to you right now. You are too damn nice. But let's get into these who did some shit. I get into you.
Okay, so the first one I have is HUD. That's Housing and Urban Development, is a governmental agency. HUD is suing Facebook for housing discrimination. HUD says that they use their social media and the people who follow their pages, they use the social media in the same type of medium that they would use a newspaper or magazine article when they post things. People who follow their social media depend on it to get important information that HUD posts. And HUD is saying that Facebook controls who sees what. So if HUD posts something, all of the people who follows HUD's pages are not able to see the announcements and therefore are not able to take advantages of some services that they may have. For instance, if the Section 8 application is opening up in your area, HUD will post that on their Facebook page, but everybody is not able to see the Facebook page. And they're saying that people who need the service most are the people who were not seeing the announcements.
So go ahead.
No, so they're suing Facebook for housing discrimination because they said that Facebook did it in a calculating way, that people who would not qualify for like Section 8 housing per se were the people who were seeing the ads.
So how did they find this out? Like, does it say how they found out that Facebook actually did this? Were people complaining like, oh, I didn't see this on Facebook?
Yes.
Or did they do so it must have been a lot of
loosely put, yes. They're like, where's the information? How come nobody knew about this? I didn't see this anywhere. This kind of stuff gets shared a million and some odd times. How come nobody's seeing this? And and again, this is because I can't even say this is all. Not to say that Facebook doesn't do this, because they do. They do.
Facebook do it because it's come
pick
out.
And choose what you see, how you see, and things like that. Because some of my friends will post some stuff, I won't see it for weeks later and stuff like that. They do it. However, HUD also has an obligation to make sure the consumers that the consumers get the information too. So it's kind of like a pass the buck thing. Well, in this instance, I'm going to blame Facebook for their part in it. And so and I just think it's a big deal because it's a government agency and they're saying, if you're saying your social media and you're open to everybody, be open to everybody, stop tweaking and screening what people see.
Right.
That's pretty much how it is.
Well, that's good to bring Facebook on there. It is very interesting, and it's good to bring Facebook up on their mess. And they have they've been recently bogged down with this same kind of thing from other people, not necessarily suing them, but that big scandal that they had come out a couple of months ago about the same thing, the information that they were filtering through and or not filtering through. So this is very interesting to follow. Facebook is in some shit. Continuously, continuously, all of these data breaches that they have going on. And it's just very interesting because they control pretty much everything.
A lot, right?
Yeah.
People aren't reading the newspaper anymore. People are on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, that's where everybody's getting their information. So somebody has to be held accountable. The Honorable Lori Lightfoot, I guess, the new mayor of Chicago.
Mm.
She's the first African-American woman, and she is openly gay. She beat the person who was another African-American female, but she won by like a landslide, more than 50% of the votes. She was a former federal prosecutor, and she is now the mayor of our nation's third largest city. And she just comes right out the gate with the shenanigans.
Talking about Jussie Smollett, first of all, congratulations to her, because no matter if she came out the gate with the shenanigans or not, it's a big deal that Chicago has elected their first Black woman mayor, and the fact that she's openly gay. The wrong foot to put forward. You didn't even get sworn in yet. You ain't even sat in the seat yet. And you already bogged down with this nonsense of Jussie Smollett. Let it go. These people have to let this go. This should not be what your defining moment, so to speak,
Right.
And this is, when you take on something like that has already been addressed, the mayor that is the mayor now, before you get sworn in, before you won, he's already addressed it. He's already said the nonsense. Just let it go, sis. Let it go and work on cleaning up what Chicago needs, which is their government agencies, their
Right.
police department,
Right.
look for a new police chief to put in there that's going to bring some stability to your city, and not all of the
Right.
havoc that's going on with the murder rate that you have going on, and the police corruption in the way that
Right.
you have going on in the city of Chicago. Those are the things that you need to focus on. Nate should be your shining moment, not Jussie
They
Smollett.
especially because that's the platform you ran on.
Mm-hmm.
Get the corruption out of the city. That was her big thing all throughout her campaign. She was going to stop this corruption. She was going to get these people out of here. She's going to turn this city around, going to stop the corruption. She's going to get these people out of here. She's going to turn the city around. Like, that was her platform, is to get the corruption out of city politics. So that's what she needs to focus on.
Yeah, and the last time I checked, Jussie Smollett wasn't the biggest damn corruption. And why are they treating him like, and we're not even going to go into Jussie Smollett, but why are they treating him like he's damn Frank White, or like Frank Lucas, the biggest damn drug dealer, or the biggest criminal, or the biggest whatever? Like, if Jussie Smollett moves to California tomorrow, or he moves to Michigan the next day, he's not going to be in Chicago anymore. It's not going to be a big deal. So, but again, congratulations to her. The city of Chicago is looking for something new, and hopefully she brings it to him.
Shout out to my Frank Lucas. He knows who he is. Anyway, that was just a sidebar. You brought it up.
That was a lot.
I'm just saying. I was like, oh, Frank Lucas. This got me thinking about my Frank Lucas. Okay, next. The South Bend, Indiana, which South Bend, Indiana is close to Michigan. It's like close to the Michigan border. They're a nonprofit in South Bend, Indiana, rescues, and I really love that term. I think that's wonderful. They rescue food and make frozen meals for children to take home from school. They give them 8 frozen meals on Friday in a backpack so that they have food to eat over the weekend. And this just made my heart smile, because we don't think about the children, especially on snow days. Mm-hmm. People always talk about how happy they are because it's a snow day and we don't have school. But I always think of those children that school is an escape for them. Mm-hmm. At home, there's no heat, there's no food, there's no electricity, people yelling and screaming all day, they smoking in the house, or they're left alone to fend for themselves. But when they go to school, they can be around other people, they have heat or air conditioner, they have lights, somebody's paying them some attention, there's food available. So, I really thought this was a really good cause. And the fact that they use the word rescue, because we waste a lot of food. Mm-hmm. We waste a lot of food. And what they do is they go around to they have agreements with local corporate caterers. Mm-hmm. And schools, because after they serve lunch, they have a lot of food left over. And if the food is not acquired in a certain amount of time, or not eaten in a certain amount of time, they have to throw it away. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they go around and literally rescue the food, and they put it in these packages like little TV dinners, and they freeze them and send the kids home with 8 meals per weekend.
That's beautiful. Bravo to them. What is the name of the nonprofit?
I don't know the name. I keep forgetting the name.
Oh, okay. Well, we have to look that up.
Yeah.
We have to look that up so that we can give them a specific shout out, and that we could spread their information and let people know that may listen to We Did That Shit podcast in that area, how they can donate, or where they could send information for people to go out and to rescue the food, because it is really a beautiful thing. So shout out to them and to the children that they are helping. I think that is awesome.
Oh, the nonprofit is named Cultivate. Oh, which is another beautiful thing. That's a nice word.
Yes. So Cultivate in the South Bend,
Indiana.
If you're in that area, or someone that's in that area, send them over, look them up, and, give them some information on where they could go and rescue that food. So,
yes, give them some gas cards or something so they can run all around town and get all the food, I guess. But I just thought that was really nice. And Another who did some shit I have is our boy Monty Scott, 12 years old, from Muskegon Heights, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Monty Scott, both his mother and his grandmother got flat tires because of all the potholes on his street. Well, he had a half a day from school, and the mom said when he came home, Monty was out in the street with a big with the garbage can full of dirt that he got from their yard and a shovel, and he had filled about 20 of the 50 potholes that was on his street with
Go
dirt.
Monty.
I did, and then like that Saturday, because he had a half day that day. Then like that Saturday, he went out and tried to fill some more of the potholes. And so the news came and interviewed him and everything. And the mom said, that she really wasn't surprised because that's just how he is. He's always tries to be helpful. And, he saw that we were upset because, when your tire's flat, that's more money. You got to pay for stuff, and the streets were looking bad. And so they asked Monty, what they think that they should do about the potholes. And he was like, they should dig the street up and pour concrete. It's more expensive, but it lasts longer.
Go Monty.
Exactly. I'm like, you see what I mean?
Monty gonna be an engineer, or he gonna be in urban development. He gonna
exactly.
Do so good for him.
Something, yes.
And his mom and his grandma, and if his father is in his life, whomever, they're raising him up right, obviously, because at 12 years old, he knows how to get out there and be a little man.
Right.
And take care of the women in his life. He saw a problem and he went out there and he did something about it. As you was telling this story, I was sitting here and I was thinking, well, where the hell he get all that dirt to fill up the rest of the potholes? Did he get it from out the yard? Because Monty, you did good, boo. But now you dug up the yard. Now all I'm thinking is y'all got patches in your yard, or what? But no. Good for Monty. Good for little Monty. I love it. I love to hear stories like that, especially from young children going out there and really making a difference.
Right.
Doing something positive and making a difference and getting rewarded for it by people saying job well done. So it gives them incentive to keep doing something, and to keep doing positive things. So
and hopefully motivate someone else to do it. And I said this several times on the podcast, and this is the way I earnestly feel. I feel that, and Monty is an African American boy, but I say it all the time that we have a responsibility to our community. Our men have a responsibility to us, and so, but for this young man, of course, he's probably being raised right and all that. But for some people, it's just in them.
Yeah.
It's just in them to be helpful and nice, to be a protector. If there's a issue, just like you said, he's taking care of the women in his life. And we need more. And he's 12. He's 12. And we need more men like him.
We do. So shout out to you. Right. If you're listening, he's 12. All right. So shout out to him. That was a great story. Well, I mean, we are on such a high note and talking about young Monty and some other things that have happened. And I hate to take the podcast on a turn and kind of put us in a somber moment, but I wanted to say rest in paradise to the rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was killed on Sunday, March 31st. Nipsey was 33 years old, and he survived by his 2 children and his girlfriend. I think she was his wife, Lauren London, the actress. And he was murdered, gunned down in broad daylight at like 3:00 in the afternoon at his store in LA, the Marathon clothing store. I'm really still messed up about it. I'm going to be very honest with you. I mean, I was a fan of Nipsey Hussle, not just of his music, but really of who he was as a man and what he stood for, because he really was a true definition of what you want to see from people that come from where we come from.
Right.
We come from the inner city. We come from a culture of violence, drugs, all kinds of stuff, a lot of negative stuff. But everything in that culture is not bad, and it's good people that get caught up in bad situations. It's good people that's out there and they doing what, society deems as negative. But even in growing up in that gang culture and growing up in that hood culture, he was able to take that and flip it around and really do something positive, not just with becoming a rapper, but his whole message and what he brought about into the world was about ownership. Black people owning things. He was all about community. He was really trying to teach people that what gang culture really started as, because he was a Crip. And if we look back at what gang culture really started as, it started as something positive. It really started as a group of men who wanted to get together for community. And that's what they stood on. They stood on bettering the community, bringing about family and what they really wanted it to be. And somewhere along the lines, it took a turn and it became what people know as negative, but he wanted to show that the gang culture, what it really started as, and so he was like getting into stem cell research. He was in the strip where he got murdered at, where his clothing store was. He had brought like the whole strip, all of the stores, giving people opportunity. He's just all about the betterment of Black people. And for that alone, outside of his music, it really just messed me up when I heard that he got murdered, because it's like, damn, it just reminded me of people that I know that got murdered in our own hood. People that is good people that that's like doing the right thing, and then their life is cut short for nothing. Because now that the details are coming out about his murder, it really was about nothing. It was about somebody who was jealous and envious of what this man was doing. And it turns out, like I said, from details that's coming out, is he got up that morning, didn't even tell his security, his family, nothing, where he was going. Heard that one of his friends had got out of jail after doing a 20-year bid and was going to his clothing store to get the boy some clothes so that he can get the man some clothes so that he can, have something to come home to. So didn't even really tell nobody what he was going to go do, just got up. And that just shows the kind of person that he was, like, oh, let me go and get him together. So he didn't have any security or anything like that, nor did he probably think that he needed anything like that when you were in your own community, going into your own store where you show people so much love, and then to be gunned down for nothing. It's just like, it's nonsense. It really just like hit home, and you see the outpouring of love on social media and stuff like that. And it really just spoke to who the man was, in the short amount of time that he's been exposed to the world. Cause he 33 years old, you was probably always innately that person. Like you said, how little young Monty was, you know what I'm saying? But since he's been exposed to the greater world through entertainment, people got a chance to see who he was. And you could tell that he was just like a good ass person because of the outpouring of love. Even the police chief in LAPD, one of the most corrupt police departments in the United States. Even the police chief there said when he saw the name, he had to look at it 3 times because he was so shocked that it happened, because he knew who he was as a person. Like, the next day, which was that Monday, he was scheduled to have a gang summit, a nonviolent gang summit, where they was going to be talking about things that they could do to, get like gang violence under control. And so for his life to be cut short like that, it's just like devastating. I mean, people die, entertainers and stuff like that. And you'd be like, damn, that's messed up. And you kind of like move on about your day because you don't know them, know. But when I heard that, and even to the days leading up to now us doing the podcast, it really fucked me up. It really did. It was like, I felt like, damn, like I lost one of my people that I knew, that I ride for. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say condolences to his family. to his children and to Lauren London, and he got brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, and it's a shame because it's just like another young Black man taken from us. Who knows what that man could have been? Because even what he was doing now, all of the things that he was doing now, who knows what he could have been, and for somebody to take his life for nothing is just nothing. Like, it's truly for nothing. Like, it really goes to show you, like, people have no value of life. And this ain't got nothing to do with just Nipsey Hussle. This is just some real shit. People don't have no value of life. Like, you took somebody's life without even a second thought. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't like what you're doing. I don't like that you're doing better than me. And I'm going to just cut your life short, take you away from this world, from your family, and the devastation that causes. Not even only with that, because now you got a family. You know what I'm saying? Now you're going to jail for damn near probably the rest of your life. Your family got to deal with the effects from that. And for what?
For nothing.
For nothing.
For nothing.
I just want people, especially in the Black community, because that's who we are, to just like value their lives and the lives of others more. Know that you ain't got to be jealous or envious of anybody. When it's your time, it's your time. And if it never becomes your time, then it ain't. But let people just like live.
It sounds crazy to say that, but that's exactly what it is. Just let people live.
Let people live. If I count the number of senseless murders that I know personally, people that I know personally that I grew up with, cousins, the whole nine, of when I look back at what they died for, and it's senseless nothingness. We just have to do better. Like, we got to do better as a whole. And I ain't just talking to Black people, I'm talking about society in general. We just have to do better as a whole. Like, what are we out here doing?
Well, I know that prior to his death, I have never heard of Nipsey Hussle before in my life. Mm-hmm. That's number one. And when Adaja's home visiting from Taiwan, and she said, "Mom, Nipsey Hussle died," and I was like, who? She was like, "Nipsey Hussle," and I was like, do you mean Nipsey Russell from the Wiz? Because he's been dead. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "No, Nipsey Hussle, he was a rapper." And I was like, "Oh, I was like, did you listen?" Because I asked her if she told me she knows something, she's into it. I'm into what she's into. I want to know what she's feeling. And she was like, "Well, he was like she said he was more than a rapper.
He was.
He was an activist." And, she start talking about the things that he did. And I said, well, any death is terrible. Mm-hmm. Any death, especially a senseless one, it's terrible. And I try to be mindful because I don't want to be desensitized to murder and death. Yeah. So we talked about it for a little while, but this is, there's three things I want to say about Nipsey Hussle. One, when I found out that he was selling his mixtapes for $100, I instantly liked him. I'm a fan. Like, what? Who? That is some bold shit. And they were selling.
Yeah, well, people bought it.
And they were selling, exactly.
Because people had the same kind of thought that you had. Who the hell would sell a mixtape for $100?
Oh, that's right.
And so people was like, you know what? Yeah. All right, let me see what this is about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to have the wherewithal to do it speaks to who you are as a person. And I was like, okay, I love it. I love it. That's number one. Number two, and there's I just like to think there's a special place in heaven for a man that gives back to his community. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot to be said for a person to give back. Now, some people don't have the means that he has, and they still give back. Mm-hmm. And so one person's dime could be another person's million, but it doesn't negate the fact that they're giving back. And just like on my mom's stone, we put, "Let the work that I've done speak for me." Mm-hmm. So just let the work that he's done speak for him. And that's what it's doing with all of this the tweets and the Facebook posts and the memoriams and all of that stuff. The work that he has done is speaking for him, and hopefully someone will be inspired to do something. And I just want to encourage someone who wants to do what you can. You may not be able to do what he did on a larger scale, but do what you can, because doing what you can someone will speak the same of you, and you can really help change somebody's life.
Yeah, I agree.
And his death does not have to be in vain. Somebody can pick up the torch and keep running.
Yeah, and I think that that's what's going to happen. Like, he named his store the Marathon, and he spoke a lot about that in his interviews, because he said it's a marathon. It's for the long haul. And so the legacy that he left behind in his short amount of time here on Earth, and especially when we were exposed to him, like you said, his work was done, and it will continue, because you see more and more people saying what they're going to do because of it, And so I agree. You said that well.
Yeah. And the third thing that I want to say is listen to 12 Kyle's podcast on Nipsey Hussle. It was funny because the first thing I thought when I saw it, I got the notification, it was Nipsey Hussle. And I was like, oh, Kyle's doing Who Did Some Shit. Because he always does like a topic. He never talks about like pop culture or current events or anything like that. And then in the podcast, he mentions that he doesn't do that, but it was a very good, heartfelt, report on this man's life, his music, his contribution to hip hop, and what he left behind. It was very good. It was very well stated. It was a very good episode of the podcast. And, that's all I really have to say about Rest in Paradise, Nipsey Hussle, and to his family, because it's really the loved ones that you leave behind that hurt the most.
That have to suffer through. Yes. And we know that hurt firsthand. We know that firsthand. And that's probably why, again, it just messed me up so bad. And another thing is, because I'm so passionate about Black people, especially with the way that these young kids are going and the direction that they're going in, he was a voice for those people, right? Being that because he was in the rap game, you had younger kids that was looking up to him, that was listening, that got a message, from him. And then for a voice like that to be taken away, it's like how when your parents was growing up, how the voice was Malcolm X, you know what I'm saying? And then it got stolen away from us, or how the voice was Martin Luther King. Then it got stolen away from us. Then even back in our time growing up, Tupac was becoming that revolutionary person that was being the voice for our generation. And then his life was cut short. Then you got him now, Nipsey Hussle, that was becoming the voice for this generation. Life got cut short. And that kind of stuff it just wears me thin, because it's just like, we just all got to step up as leaders and stop the senseless killing. That's what my takeaway from it is. But I wanted to talk about you now. Let's talk about you now. Let's switch gears for the podcast, because I don't want to stay on this on the sad note, and that's a sad situation. But let's talk about a little bit about you before we get on out of here for this week.
What about me? I am not having an emotional affair.
This is not about an emotional affair, okay. But yes, you are. But this is about you being too nice. This is about you being too nice. I don't care what you say. There is a such thing as being too nice.
I was just about to say, there is no such thing as being too nice.
It is.
Oh my God.
Why? Listen, I keep saying it's a thing as being too nice. You don't think that it is. I'm telling you, no. It is. So much so that I Googled it. And Google got everything. Google has everything. And they even had several articles about you being too nice.
What makes me too nice though? Why do you say I'm too nice? I get angry.
When?
I was angry last week on the podcast.
It's not about you being angry because I mean you have emotions. You are emotional. You have, you're angry about some things like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened. But you're too nice for the shit that you don't need to be nice for. This is not about being reactive to something. This is not about seeing something and you like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that happened, or how dare they do that. This is not about that. This is about you, the be being too nice in the way that you deal with things that have to do with you, not things that have to do with the world. Let me just go through it. It's a couple of it's a couple of different things. It's a
yeah,
couple of
what
different
is it? 'Cause
signs
let me hear
that
it. Let me
tell
hear it.
you
'Cause
that you're too nice. And
okay.
as I was reading them, you got them all, honey.
Oh
You
my
have them
gosh.
all. Number one, you always make yourself available.
People need help.
I am helpful as hell. I'm helpful as hell. However, you have to know when it's enough. It's not about people needing help. A lot of times people do need help, but people lean on that. They lean on the fact that, oh, she'll do it. She's always available. She nice. Or ask Bibbi. She'll do it. You need that done? Oh, let me call Bibbi. Now I do that too with you. I do that too with you. But because I got a lot of that in me, I try not to lean on you as much as other people. But that's one of the things, that you're too nice. You make yourself available all the time. Do you agree or disagree that you make yourself available all the time? No matter what it is. No matter if you got something to do or not.
I agree that people need help.
No, that you make yourself available. What are you talking about?
I tr-
And that could be available.
sometimes it really is like no big deal. Yeah, like yeah. Okay, maybe.
You're having an emotional affair. That's emotionally available. That means that you're too available. Number two, let's move on because clearly I'm not going to get this out of you that you think that these things are you, but this is you. Number two is you 100%. And if you say that it's not, the podcast is done. You forgive too easily.
There's nothing wrong with forgiveness.
Let me tell.
Forgiveness is for me. Forgiveness is not about the other person at all. Forgiveness is for me. I have to free myself from the wrong. I am very forgiving. I am.
I think that forgiveness is for you, right? In my older years of living, I have learned that forgiveness is for you. Now, I'm not forgiving. And I think that you are too forgiving because what happens is you forgive too quickly and too quietly without being healed of what it is that the person did to hurt you.
But
And
the
that's the
person
problem.
can't heal me.
No, it's not about the person healing you. It's about you dealing with the hurt first and then forgiving. Because what happens is you forgive, you don't deal with the hurt, but you still hurt. So now you still dealing with the bull crap instead of healing yourself first and saying, you know what? Okay, now I can forgive the situation. No, your nice ass want to be like, oh, yeah, I mean, they did that, but I know they ran into my car with a four-wheeler on purpose, but I mean, it could be fixed. What?
I feel like there are some people, first and foremost, and I want to be very, very clear. I'm a very spiritual person.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that there is no way I can say my prayers and ask God to forgive me for things that I have done and not be forgiving to other people. It's just not right.
You can be
I'm
forgiven.
not God. I'm not God. So I forgive and I can still be angry. I can still be hurt and all that other kind of stuff. But if I'm asking God for forgiveness, Lord, forgive me for my transgressions, for cutting somebody off in traffic, for cussing somebody out, for being angry about a situation that I really shouldn't have been angry about, for doing whatever. If I want forgiveness, I can't ask for forgiveness in good conscience and know that I'm not forgiving to other people. Now, there are a few people, not too many, because usually, like, once I'm forgive and like I'm over it, there are some things that people that I have forgiven and I'm not really over it. I want to be, but I'm not really over it. And I think there's only one person, maybe one in a possible, that I really wish I really just never had to fuck with or see again, but I do.
Mm. You don't really have to unless they're your kids. And your kids ain't done nothing to you that you can't forgive
So
them.
I have perfect
Unless it's you.
children,
Okay.
but it's not my
If
children, but I do. Like, yeah, I do. Like,
okay.
I'm supposed to see them.
Again,
Yeah.
you forgive too easily. It's not about forgiveness. It's about how quick your is forgiven. And that's being too nice. Number 3, you hardly speak up for yourself. Ding, 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 ding. You got that. You had that. Now, you don't have that like if a chick came up to you and was starting some nonsense, you wouldn't stand up for yourself. That's not it. But you don't speak up for yourself in situations that you need to speak up for yourself, i.e., the emotional affair. You sit and say to me, "Oh, I ain't doing this. I can't believe you trying to get me do bop do bop." And then you won't say, "Nah, don't call me with your bullshit. Don't call me with your whatever." No, you listen to it and then you be like, "Ah, I can't believe they call." Yeah, speak up for yourself.
Mm. I am overly concerned about for other people's
Other
feelings.
people.
I am.
Hi.
I'll admit that one.
Listen,
I'll admit that
tell you
one.
all the
I
time.
am.
You are concerned about somebody else's feelings. Meanwhile,
To
they're
my own
not
detriment.
concerned about
Right.
they are
Exactly.
not concerned
No,
about your feelings. And
I
nobody
agree.
else is jammed up in the situation but you. You are the only one that is dealing with whatever comes from the situation. Just like the forgiven too easily. You are not healed from the situation. And just like the not speaking up for yourself. You don't speak up for yourself. You ain't healed from the situation, but you quick to be like, "Oh, well, I don't want them to be hurt," and then you forgiving them.
Right.
What the hell? And I think that I'm like a nice ass person, but not
Oh my
enough
gosh.
forgiving people for nonsense that they did to me, especially when it's like beyond nonsense. And surely not enough to be like not telling you how I feel about the situation. What do I always say?
Say what
You
you
say
gotta
what you
say.
have to say, because even if the person doesn't agree or they don't receive it, it doesn't matter. You get it up off of you. You say that you forgive people because forgiveness is for you. Say what you got to say because that's for you too.
Mm. I'll take that under consideration.
This nice bullshit is too much.
I
All right,
will.
number 4, you are constantly saying sorry. Mm, mm, mm.
Okay.
The niceness is just you.
But is that too nice? First of all, I think the sorry goes with the last one because I will admit that I don't like people to feel bad. I don't want people to think that I'm not trying to intentionally hurt anybody's feelings. And when people used to call me mean, like they was like, "Oh, you so mean. Why you so mean? Why you so mean?" And then I was like, "I'm not mean." And I think that it just went too far. Like when I was young, when I first
When? Because I was going to say, I've known you all my life.
I know, but when
All of
I
my
was
life, I've
younger, like
known
in my
you. You're
teenage
older than
years,
me, and you was always nice.
in my teenage years, and it wasn't that I was mean because I left home very early, so I had to be a certain way to protect myself. You
Right.
know what I mean? So I really didn't think I was mean. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I'm always thinking about my safety, always, and
Yeah.
I'm still like that. But when I started to meet people and be more social. Like when I went to college, and they were like, "Oh my goodness, you're so mean. Why are you so mean?" And I will admit that people did treat me different. Like they still wanted to be a friend, they still wanted to be around me, stuff like that. But I just didn't want people to think I was mean. And then, my life is charity. So people need help. And I just got caught up in this whirlwind of Niceness. I don't know. Oh my
You
gosh.
got caught up in this whirlwind of niceness. You and in that you forget to be my biggest thing is you forget to be nice to yourself. You
That's
know,
true.
when you
That's
are
true.
being
It
when
is
you are
true.
being considerate of other people, when you're being forgiving of other people, very easy, when you're not speaking up for yourself, you forget to be nice to yourself, because you so busy worried about other people. And that's my biggest thing with the being nice. That's why I'm always on you like, no, you too nice. All right. What was I?
What?
1, 2, 3, 4. You got them. Number five. Number five. You have warped expectations.
Not anymore.
Mm.
Not anymore. And I used to. And I just feel like, why are people like that? But I had to learn the hard way, I will say, that you cannot expect people to be and think like you.
Right.
So now I know that when I do stuff, I don't do it with any, even people that I help. And I think that's what it was, is the people that I help that that will never reciprocate. Now, I understand that, say if I give you $1 million, right? You may not ever have $1 million to give me.
Mm-hmm.
But even when you do have something that can help me, something, anything, you never say, hey, do you
Yeah.
need such and such? Or hey, I have an hour, could you do whatever? Like nothing ever. And that's something I had to learn the hard way. And that is absolutely true. I used to be like that, but not anymore. So now I do things knowing that, people might be fucked up, ain't never going to get nothing back. And I don't do things to get something back, but I just don't have any expectation of the person. You may
So
have some
you
valid points. I just want to say this though,
okay? Because I was gonna say, so you 4 out of 5.
because I'm recovering from that one.
Okay.
So,
So you 5 out of 5, but you recovering from the fifth. Got it.
but I just want to say this. I also feel like people take my niceness for weakness.
You took the words out of my mouth.
And it's
Mm,
it's not, and I think that I also attract sometimes a certain type of person
you do.
because that weakness or whatever. And because I have experienced that when they realize it's not a weakness, they'll go away.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's really not. And the people who know what they can get, they keep getting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They keep getting, and I think they do take advantage. They do.
You
And
think?
right, but my fear is, and this is really my fear. My fear is one day all of those things that I vent to you
Mm-hmm.
are gonna come out.
And that's the reason why.
And I'm gonna be doing 20 to life.
And
And
that's
I
the
just
reason why I keep telling you that you are too nice. I don't mean that you're too nice, like I want you to walk around as something that you're not, and I want you to be a mean person. Shit, I'm not a mean person. You know what I'm saying? Other people might say that some things that I do, they can consider it mean, but it's not about being mean. What it's about is about not taking advantage of me and not
right,
taking advantage of who I am as a person. To me, you feel like the niceness is helping you, but it's not helping you. It's not, because you're not getting what you need in the process of trying to
right.
be so damn nice. Like, you
I
can
have helped
still be
people to my
nice.
own detriment.
Right.
I
You can
have.
still be a nice person. You can still be a kind person. You can still be a welcoming person. You can still be available to people. You can still say yes to people. You can still do all of those things and not be taken advantage of in the process.
Well, I think like, so to taking advantage of whatever, because we know there are some situations that I really should never, ever, ever, ever be talking to certain people, doing something things like never, ever. And if I said, what I
Mm,
mean,
mm,
you low down, nasty gutter snipe, I would be all truthful
mhm.
in saying that about the people. And I still, talk to them or whatever. So that is true. And then on the other end, I still have like people like me, and I don't dislike people, but I really don't like be bothered with people. I have like a really small circle, and I'm okay with that really small circle. And like when people come in and like they be wanting to be girlfriends, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't want to stir anything. You know what I mean? It's not that I dislike people, but I think everything is for a time
Right.
and a reason. Like, okay, this is, times. Just I'm not in the book club, but just like say if I was in a book club, then I'd be like, okay, then these are the book club girls. Like if the book club girls call me on Tuesday, I'm like, what she want? I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you know. So, but I feel like if you say something, then that's not nice either. But what do you say? Like, I really don't feel like being bothered. Like,
No, you don't have to say anything. Sometimes you don't have to say anything. Your actions speak louder than your words most of the time. So I mean, like, unless they just dense, a person to get the hint that you are not trying to be friends on Tuesday and you only want to be friends on the monthly book club. I mean, I'm not the kind of person that's like oh no, I'm not like that. You don't have to be like that, but you do have to be less nice.
less nice. I'm gonna work on it.
Less. That
I know
sounds
that.
so crazy. Be less
Right.
nice. I don't mean
Be
it like
more
that.
truthful. Be more
Yeah.
truthful. Because really what it is that I suppress what I truly feel. Because I feel like, with that old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So now I don't promote the bullshit. Like I don't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I do. I take a lot. I take a lot. I will agree with that. I do. I do. And I'm going to work on it. I'm going to, tell people because what happened was like the TD Bank incident.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, I didn't know that boy or whatever, so it didn't matter. But that was my true me. Like, what the? You know what I mean? Like, what?
No, that was everything coming to
No, that
the
was
surface.
specific to
No, that was
that.
very specific to the person. But what I'm saying is like when you don't do, if you just let things linger, 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 nice, nice,
Right.
nice, 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 then it boils over. It boils over, and then you get the reaction like you did at TD Bank. And for all of you listening, she went off at TD Bank, like off,
And
clear
you was
off.
happy.
Because I was like, right, about time your ass finally. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm promoting you to be so damn ratchet or I'm telling you to be so mean or anything like that. I'm not trying to do that. I just don't want anybody taking advantage of you. I don't want you looking weak. I don't want you to be so trusting of people that it backfires on you. I don't want you to say yes so much when you really want to say no that it's just not helpful to you. So stop being so damn nice.
I am. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna be more truthful and see and how long it takes me to go back to being the mean Pete person that everybody used to call me and see how that works out.
You're not going to be. You're not going to be because you don't want to be. So the thing is that you know who you want to be as a person and you know what you want to put out there into the atmosphere of your life. You already know that. So because you already know that, you're never going to go back to the mean person that somebody said that you once was. And at this point in your life, people that know you or know of you or know anything circling around you any sort of out of kind of way already think that your ass is too nice. So even if you became mean, they would be like, look at Bibbi over there acting like she because you didn't already put the niceness out into the atmosphere. So don't say it like, oh, I'm gonna be like this, and then people, girl,
I'm just gonna be truthful.
yes,
And how I felt during the Who Did Some Shit segment last week was truthful. I was very angry.
exactly. So don't apologize for it, which was one of the things. Don't say that you are sorry for having the emotions or the feelings that you had then. Just roll with it. And that is my suggestion to you. Just roll with it. However you are feeling, whether it be so nice, but don't be so nice that it is to the detriment of you, as you said. Got it?
Okay. I'm gonna work on it because I have suffered some really big blows helping other people and being nice and
Mm.
yeah, it's really for the birds. And I
Mm.
really want to say to some people like, stop bringing that bitch up around me. I don't give a shit. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like stuff like that. But I just I
Mm.
don't want to hurt nobody.
Mhm. I will do it for you.
I don't know, but I just what you gonna do?
You gonna work on it. And with that, we're gonna go ahead and get on out of here for this week. We hope that you enjoyed this week's episode. We will give you an update on whether my co-host is just being too nice. Remember that an all new episode drops each and every Monday. You can find us anywhere where you can find a podcast. That is on Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube. Remember that you can follow us on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at We Did That Shit. Follow me on my personal Twitter. It's MyMy13. That's MYMY13.
And I'm at Bibbi Amina. That's BIBBIAMINA.
And we'll be here same time next week.
Remember, be nice this week. Do that shit. I love you, Maya.
Love you too, Nicey.